Hello, welcome back to another video, and I know I'm off uploading schedule by a week, but this week and the next weekend I'm uploading a video both regarding the fourth Maizuma challenge, and I actually made two designs for the challenge, although I'm only officially entering with the one you will see in a week, which was made with together with KP Killer, link in the description. He's a nice guy, and yeah, but for now, as a little teaser, you could say I've made a I couldn't hold myself back. I just had to make it. I just had to make it. I'm sorry to everyone who thought I'm sane. Apparently I'm not sane. Just to let you know, I'm actually not sane. So sorry. So yeah, we have a one wide ABBA-Caving scoring system because memes, and this is like 5,858 blocks, so 101 by 58. If you stand here in survival, you can reach this chest, although you can't really read that sign. So that's your loot chest, that's your team red input, and this is your team blue input, as it says on these signs. And the lamps are actually flipped upside down, so blue has the lower input but has the top lamp, and the red lamp is the lower one. And because of the complexity of this thing, and the size I was aiming for, because I was aiming to make it small, and technically speaking it could be 2 slices off the back and 1 from the top, but since I'm already over time, like a day over the deadline, because real life took like 4 days off of me, I decided not to do it any further. So in case Maizuma still accept, like, this isn't an official entry, this is just like a thing he could maybe mention, because it was a lot of fun designing it, whatever. And I feel like it has evolved into sort of a running gag where I expect myself to one-up myself every time Maizuma posts a new challenge, so I'm really hoping for a new door so I can do even more insane shit. And here's a book for Maizuma, by the way, and some fern, because fern. These are the same night vision and weather command blocks as before, so there is no cheating. If you look at / game rule command block output true, there are only these 2 command blocks running constantly. And yeah, so I'll explain like last time what everything does while the thing is running. So right here I have some example Shulker boxes. So this one contains exactly 157 points worth in value from the score table, and this one contains 1 less, so 156. And yeah. Oh, what I forgot to write in the book, by the way, Shulker boxes end up in the chest up here, so your Shulker boxes are in the thing. And yeah, let's just let it run. So the blue thing goes into the blue, and I know what you're thinking. Does it support multiple Shulker boxes? Yes, it does. So in the end we should get a point difference of 2 back there somewhere. And yeah, that T flip-flop says it's in good position to start, so let's just hit the button, and here I go with complete shit frame rate. So the first thing that happens when we press the button is it goes through here and unlocks this clock for a moment. This clock fires 3 times, sucking 3 items from the droppers at the beginning. And every time the top dropper gets an item to here, which is just an auto spitter, this clock actually fires 2 more times. So that's one of the reasons why both need to have the same input, same amount of Shulker boxes in them. By the way, there are some barriers here to prevent item loss from spitting out. They're like all over the place. And so that's how we suck all the shulker boxes. Next, the thing is pretty much symmetric up, or like equal up to back there, so I will just explain the top half. So the shulker box, oh my god, the frame rate. The shulker boxes get placed by the dispenser here. So when the dispenser gets an item, it does this RS NOR latch and fires itself once, placing a shulker box right here. The shulker box then gets read and sucked, and then the items land in this. When the shulker box is empty, it destroys the shulker box and sends the pulse all the way through here, undoing the RS NOR latch and essentially letting the dispenser fire itself again. That continues until there are no longer shulker boxes in the thing, and this brown thing right here was improvised at like 2/3 done, because the item flow from a standard hopper sucking was way too quickly for a light blue to handle. So this brown just slows down the flow of items insanely hard. So this only lets out an item every 9 ticks, which kinda sucks, but the rest of this is so awesome it makes up for it. So then our items travel along here. And you know these things, these are just your standard item filters, each filtering out something else. And in the end we have for everything else which travels through. If it's a non-stackable item, it's ignored because the single strings only reaches 1 and it just flows back right through everything. If it's an unstackable item, we are going to assume it's horse armor by rules, and it counts it and sends it through here. So every item has its value associated with it. For example, lapis right here has a value of 1, so if we just follow this redstone dust, it goes through here, down here, into this single dropper. For example, redstone has 2, it goes through here, no wait, it goes through right here. This redstone dust, there's a 2 droppers here, then there's gold, gold has a value of 1, 2, 3, and diamonds have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then emeralds have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and name tags also have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, ignore this. And then comes the fun part. The golden apples are both worth 15 items. So when the thing travels through here, this fires 2 items. Then these items are being read as they flow through the system, firing another 2, reading, firing another 1, reading, firing another 1. And over here we read it once and then just send signal off into a different direction. So that's 15 droppers all getting triggered by the same input up there. And this is the same, just slightly rearranged with input. And then here's just the 10 for the non-stackable items. By the way, this is like stuff I had to secure with barriers, because last time we were getting trouble with, actually there's one missing here. We were getting trouble with items flying out the side and thereby not doing shit. So once the items have been sorted, they all go through here up, or if it's down here, it goes back over again and under everything, and then at the back up, and then to the loot chest. This thing right here for this slice is actually a dropper tower, but this dropper tower actually interferes with 3 different signals. As you can see right there, both lamps are on because currently the points, every team has at least 1 point, so the lamps stay on. So you see this signal right here needs to travel through the dropper tower. This signal right here needs to travel through the dropper tower. And the input from the button when it's resetting also needs to travel through the dropper tower. So this dropper tower literally does like up, down, up, down, up, down, and then up again, just to get 3 signals through, which took like too long. And yeah. So the counting items, so the ones all in this clusterfuck of hoppers and droppers and chests, end up back here in either this dropper for team red and this dropper for team blue. What they do is these, if they have an output, they basically turn off this AND gate clock. So as you can see, this torch is no longer off, but this torch is off, so the clock stopped. And this torch being off, this torch turning on means that all items have been successfully sucked out the point dropper up here. Meaning down here is our difference in points between the teams, which is 2, as you can see right there. And yeah, so yeah, the items or the points then travel up again and store themselves back into the system. And yeah, these do that as well. And then the lime is 3 different things basically. So first off, we have the AND gate clock. So this clock fires both droppers simultaneously, meaning as long as both have a point, it keeps subtracting 1 point from each dropper, which is the same technique KP and I used on our other design. But then there's also this torch tower right here, as well as this torch tower right here, which do some interfering and crossing and then travel through these things, through the thing, and then through this thing, and then do a whole mess right here, and then they connect to the lamp. So Team Blue won as expected by 2 points. So up here is our loot. As you can see, that's all we put in really. And yeah, as you can see, this has like a flip ton of storage backwards, so feel free to input a lot more if you want. Like up to 9 shulkers is supported, although at 9 shulkers you might run into an issue where the shulker being broken and these droppers being full actually despawns as an item. So I wouldn't recommend loading the system with 9 full shulkers, but that wasn't part of the challenge. The part of the challenge was supporting up to a double chest of loot in the end, so that's completely fulfills that. And yeah, so what's going on right here and back here? So the dark green circuit is my reset circuit. As you can see, every time we press the buttons, this T flip-flop toggles, so every second time it lets a 4-tick pulse pass through. And here, right here, we have the lime torch towers, which are coming from back there, and they go up and travel over and connect to the lamp. The problem is that we need to pass the signal from the reset through the fucking dropper towers, through the torch towers, without actually messing them up too badly. And the issue right here is this circuit, because if we just would leave a repeater running out, as soon as this torch tower would turn on, this repeater would power this torch tower, turning it on as well. And in order to prevent that, I sort of made up this circuit. Basically, if we just power this torch, as you can see, this turns off, preventing the signal from interfering with the other shit. And when this turns on, it doesn't leave a signal through. And the same happens right here. So when the reset actually happens, it does 3 things. First off, it powers this redstone dust, which powers this repeater, which means that this piston will be kept extended, so the signal can pass through the top. It will also send a signal through the top, and it will extend this piston as well by powering this dust with a signal strength of 15, although 3 would be enough, because this comparator chain right here needs to be a comparator chain because it basically gets a signal strength of 1, meaning the signal strength of this thing itself won't be enough to trigger this bullshit, but it will be enough to trigger the torch tower, and the reset circuit actually has enough signal strings to do that. And sorry if I'm rushing because I'm running out of time and I don't want this to upload for hours upon hours and rendering as well, because as I said, I'm already over a deadline. So yeah, so when you actually hit the button, and this thing is done. So for example, right now, you can see this fires, the signal goes all the way through there, through here, through the thing, all over the place, over everything, and down into this RS NOR ledge. This RS NOR ledge is neat, if I would say so of myself. So what you just saw, the RS NOR ledge, so this thing down here was turned on. This thing is on as soon as any of the 2 point droppers have an item in it. And it will turn off as soon as both are empty, which is what the reset circuit should do. It should suck all the points from there. So we read it with, well, we read it at different points. So this point dropper actually is so built in with shit that I can't read it. So I had to read the storage up here. So there's one item more than this stuff can handle, and if that one item is there, I know everything is filled up and this is empty, because there's just one item more in the system. So if that's there, we know that thing is empty. So if this is not if this is empty, that means at least one item is somewhere in the system, like somewhere below these droppers and this dropper tower. Then this whole thing is like inverted, going through the thing into the lamp, and hard powering this dropper hopper, which puts an item in this, which this comparator reads through this, and it has a signal strength of 1, which is important right here. So with signal strength of 1, it will get read by this repeater, goes through the torch tower, and turns the thing on. However, this thing alone by itself, as you can see, won't do stuff. And should the other one be full, the signal will come through this block, which is used to clock the thing, but also just outputs, just reads this. So if this redstone line is on, this is empty, and this will turn off. And of course it will turn off periodically with the clock, but that doesn't matter. So then this signal travels all the way up here, and ignores this for a second, travels all the way through here and pushes this thing up. This is a cauldron with signal strength of 3, so that will actually hit this torch tower, and this torch tower is connected with the other lamp. So we are essentially crossing a signal right here. Actually we are crossing, yeah, we are reading 2 signals from one side of 2 torch towers, essentially. Which is stupid, by the way, but I really tried my hardest. I spent like 2 hours figuring out a way to do this torch tower and this up here without using a clock, because as Zombichu said, before observers, the holy trinity of shit or awfulness or whatever he said, I don't remember the actual quote, the exact quote, was burnouts, clocks, and sand or entities in general. And I spent 2 hours getting rid of all the stuff, because initially there was a torch burnout down there, a permanently running clock up here, and a sand block right here. But this got fixed because this reminded me of an old 10 by 10 attempt we had, where if this is powered permanently, like this redstone turning off will update this piston, and thereby realizing it's still powered and pushing it down again. That is such a nice circuit, and in case both are on, this will take priority, obviously. And yeah, so when we press the reset button over there, the signal comes all the way through here and disables this, or enables this RS NOR ledge. So what will happen is this block will get powered and this block will get powered. This block getting powered will power this, turn off the torch and retract the block, which then would create a clock, if we wouldn't power the block already. And yeah, so then this signal can connect and keeps the torch off permanently. So that will pull back all of this stuff. And down here we have a simple hopper clock, which will subtract one item from this every 4 ticks, and that will just keep going on until the thing turns off again, which, as I explained earlier, happens when both of these are empty. So that means this torch tower turning off this piston right here, and this dropper hopper being emptied as well. So but for this one, this took me another 2 hours to figure out, because I have a piston right here with a block, and I have a piston with redstone block right here, and if I power both of these simultaneously, you see the signal never reaches this repeater. But if this should contain an item after the point calculation is done, meaning the other one has no item, this signal will be on, powering this stuff like this, and then I use this clock right here, which, by the way, keeps this on permanently with a single strength of 1. Remember, when this is full, this is empty, meaning that this torch tower will be in exactly the situation it's in right now, with this being off by default. So if that should be the case and this clock starts running, you see I'm cutting off the signal right here to give this power. This took me way too long to actually figure out to do, and yeah, I'm proud of it. And yeah, so that will just clock one of them or both of them for eternity until both are empty, meaning no matter how many points one team was ahead, it will always set to 0 points on each team. And then it will turn this off, and as soon as this turns off, the torch will turn on, the piston will cut off, and the Ars knowledge is reset back properly. Alright, I hope so badly this made sense, because I really rushed it. I will still add the color code for my circuits. I will add a page to this book, and I will probably move this stuff. But yeah, that was it from my rushed, quick talking, ununderstandableness person. I lost track of the sentence. And yeah, again, I really want to rush this video out, and it was fun. Thank you for Maizuma for hosting these challenges. For my viewers, in the weeks there will be a non-one-wide design, which is actually almost half of this size. So it's just over 3,000 blocks. And to give you a perspective, that is the smallest three-dimensional thing we could get. And the fact that this is not even, this is smaller than twice that size, just shows how with enough knowledge and patience and dedication, you can do stuff in one wide space. Because problems just kept arriving. I had to redesign orange twice. I had to fit in brown somehow. This led to me redesigning like the entire left half from this, because initially this was on this level, and this just went straight from here into a 4-tick repeater right here into a redstone dust right here. With a torch here. So I had to make room for brown, and those... Don't you dare! Yeah. So I had to make room for brown, and yeah. I had to figure out the green stuff. I actually had to raise the chest by 1 block. Initially that was 1 block lower. In order for this zigzagging dropper tower to fit in. But yeah, I'm happy with the end result. It works consistent, or I've done like 15 tests with varying degrees of amount of Shulker boxes, and I guess the redstone didn't actually go in there. I made 15 tests with different amount of Shulker boxes, different amount of items in it, different point differences in the end, all the way to 1, as you see. Quick side notes: if it's a draw, obviously both lamps will stay off or turn off at some point. And yeah, I probably forgot something while rushing this video, and it's already over 10 minutes already. So yeah, if you want an in-depth explanation, I don't know why you should want that, but if you want it, leave a comment. I'm not going to say leave a comment for a tutorial, because no. And yeah, thank you for watching. And because one this nice viewer actually said that he or indirectly demanded longer outros, you will all enjoy my bye for like a lot longer now. So thank you for watching, thank you to Maizuma, and bye.